Good news for rideshare drivers. Whether driving for Uber or Lyft, Uber Eats, Grubhub, DoorDash, this may be some good news. Perhaps. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim with another ride-sharing video. Now, this is coming out of California, and we know the legislators in California tend to lean left. So when you're talking about getting minimum wage increases and things like this is generally the state you want to be in. But it doesn't always go that way, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, not going to get too deep into what they're doing in California, except to say an Uber Eats driver sued the company on the grounds that he was misidentified or mislabeled as an independent contractor when he really was being treated like an employee, W-2 employee. We all know what the hell that is like. All of us drivers in ride sharing in particular, working for Uber or Lyft, they have us do shit all the damn time that they should have no right to do if you are truly an independent contractor. So the notion that a gig worker was treated like an employee but paid like an independent contractor should resonate with every damn body watching this. That happens to all of us. And we're going to talk about this from the standpoint of my humble opinion in regards to the future of ride sharing, the future of a hell of a lot of gig economy positions. In my humble opinion, this misclassified lawsuit, now he won this lawsuit, the opening stages of it with the judges out there in California, because obviously Uber, Lyft, these companies want to continue classifying us as independent contractors. Hell of a lot of oversight they don't have to pay, hell of a lot of things they don't have to pay in regards to us drivers. So they want to keep you as an independent contractor, but when they want you to do some shit they need you to do, they treat you like an employee. He was able to win over the courts out there, at least on the lower level, to show that, yeah, based on what you're presenting, you sound like an employee. Now, remember, there are higher courts. So this is just the entry to this. And I'm bringing this up because we know in Minnesota, drivers had won a hell of a lot of rights, actually was getting into legislation, had both the Senate and the House in Minnesota approve wage increases. You couldn't just simply deactivate drivers without showing some real evidence. Gave drivers a hell of a lot of transparency, all types of shit. They had won it in the House and Senate. And the governor out in Minnesota named Tim Walz, this asshole, never had vetoed a single bill in his entire gubernatorialship. Decided to veto this one. So we had some really good news in Minnesota that collapsed from one man deciding to veto it. In my humble opinion, Uber paid him off. And I'm going to tell you why I say that, because right now I'm working on a video that shows that Macron, the prime minister of France, was paid off by Uber to fuck over the workers in that country. So they do this shit over and over, and we know they do this. Anyhow, going back to this particular story, I do believe the future of ride sharing is going to be possibly W-2 oriented. I understand all of us drivers want to maintain a 1099 independent contractor status. That would be a win-win for most of us who want to keep it that way, want to be flexible and things of that nature. However, Uber, Lyft, and many of these companies just simply will not play by the rules. So what's going to ultimately happen is you're going to have drivers that are disgruntled, that no longer no longer take trips, no longer do food deliveries, no longer in the gig economy because they keep getting fucked over. And eventually one of them are going to win the lawsuit. And it's going to cause Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, these companies to be flipped to being W-2 employer-related job. They just won't play by the rules. They refuse to let you have all the rights, privileges, and freedoms of a truly independent worker. It doesn't work with their agenda. It doesn't work with their business model. They make a hell of a lot more money by listing you as an independent contractor, but getting you to behave as an employee. They've been doing that since day one. They have really been doing that since day one. moving surges around, lying to you about where a surge actually is, playing musical chairs to get you to go to different sides of town, telling you there was a financial incentive to go over there, and then removing the bonus or financial incentive or surge price when you get over there. You can't do any of that shit legally to an independent contractor. Same thing with making deals behind our backs to use you as pseudo ambulances, pet transporters, and all of this other bullshit. All of that as an independent contractor, you should have a right to opt out of. Up to and including, I had somebody in the comments tell me this is law, but I don't believe it. But you let me know, folks. Up to and including suggesting a driver has to deal with service animals, even if they are allergic. I don't believe that. I personally do not believe that. But let me know in the comments what you have to say. Because if you're driving a vehicle and you're sniffing and choking and coughing and shit because you're allergic to the, how can you operate the vehicle safely? That doesn't make sense to me. So let me know, am I getting that wrong? I personally believe there should be provisions if you're allergic to animals so that you don't have to take animals. But nevertheless, even if it is a law requiring drivers haul service animals around, there should damn well be some information on your trip when you request it that you're picking up somebody with an animal. That's not there. They're doing that to prevent you from canceling trips you do not want. Once again, as an independent contractor, you should know that. You should know what's getting in your vehicle, how many passengers are getting in. You should know all of that shit ahead of time. So, yeah, I do believe the W-2 outcome is probably in the future of a lot of gig opportunities. I do believe that, simply because they will not play by the rules. There's too many limitations they're placing on drivers that literally leave them wide open to be sued and forced to list folks as employees. And they're not going to stop doing it. Every law they can break, every law they can skirt, they're going to do it. Every politician they can pay off, every lobbyist that will take their money, they're going to do it. That case in France I'm talking about, I'm going to give you some more cases that happened in this country, various states, on how Uber and Lyft got started and how they got so damn big. There is literally a laundry list of politicians, governments, and officials that have been paid off to help them get into the business, push the taxi folks out, break laws, change regulations, have new laws made so that they could become operators, such as getting rid of medallions or giving them ways to skirt around medallions, insurance violations. They've done a lot to become this big. And most of it was done by paying off people in power. So I'm going to be doing a video on that. But in this case, I do believe this is somewhat good news. Like I said, I understand we all want to maintain flexibility. A lot of us do not wish to be W-2 employees. But at the end of the day, if that's what it's going to take to get paid properly, to not keep getting fucked over, it is what it is. I mean, and in that way, at least the folks that are out here behind the wheel will be making a decent living. Under this flexibility 1099 bullshit, there's a lot of drivers that are driving at a loss. There are a lot of folks who are driving going bankrupt, and when they go bankrupt, they don't even have a car because it's fucked up. $2,500 deductible with Lyft's insurance. How many drivers earning 80, 90 cents a mile got $2,500 sitting around if something goes wrong? They're going to be out of a car if they get in an accident. So now they don't got into rideshare and drove for Lyft, weren't making much to begin with, put a bunch of miles on their car, got into an accident with the car, and now they can't even afford to pay the deductible to get it fixed. So they actually are worse off than they started. That happens to people. The W-2 world is probably coming to rideshare. It probably is. But let me know what you think in the comments. I understand most of you guys do not want that. If you could get paid $25 an hour reliably as a rideshare driver, or $20 an hour and they pay for your gas or give you some type of stipend or per diem for your vehicle, you get an extra amount. We give you $20 an hour plus a certain amount to cover fuel and depreciation on your vehicle. Is it something you'd be interested in, or do you want to keep things status quo? Yours truly, like I said, I like the flexibility, but I know the vast majority of Uber and Lyft drivers are losing out. You're losing money. And last but not least, if you become a W-2 employee, you're not going to get demoted every damn year. And when I say demoted, I mean the pay you make this year does not go down next year. There is not a single W-2 job out there in existence where the pay goes down every fucking year. We've been in rideshare in 2014, yours truly, every year. Just about every year, drivers are earning less than they did the previous year. That doesn't happen in the W-2 world. I don't give a damn if you get a 10-cent per hour raise. In the W-2 world, you make more money as the years go on, not less. So there's that also. But let your boy know, flexibility or independent contractor. As always, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.